So here's the bag. I mean, a box. Again, another huge, massive box. So it's not going to fit under here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to crack this baby open, and I'm just going to pull stuff out of it, and we're going to go over it. This is a lot. It was a ton of stuff laid out on a table, and hey, bid on this. And so I did. And well, sights and wonders, my luck, I won. So here we get started. Let me make a spot behind me because, oh, like I said, it won't fit up here. So let me grab just bags of stuff. Huh. Wow. So that'll be the last thing we actually go over. Let's see. Let's look at this big box inside of the box. Well, there goes a bunch of rod and reels. So here's a box of stuff. And this, I think this was probably a buyout from a drone store that sold a bunch of stuff. And so these are servo extension cables. Always very handy if you're building drones. Looks like potentially goggle, FPV goggle pads. I do not know. Hobbymate digital pitch gauge. No idea. Maybe this is some kind of thing for, I don't know, adjusting pitch. I'm going to leave all this stuff together because apparently it's all a deal. It was originally $33. RC Depot Hobbies Incorporated Pyro Drone F4 OSD F4 Flight CC. I don't know if that has anything to do with this. But here, there's a pitch gauge. I got a pitch gauge. Okay, so some connectors. I don't need any of these. I got tons of these. Like I said, I got a bunch of Arduinos. So if you got Arduinos, you got a bunch of those. And in here, looks like some small connector cables, which I think will come in handy. Let's see. Let me try to pull those up. Looks like male and female. So awesome. That's good. That's usually like what you may have those on like a 1S battery or something of that nature. Some conversion harnesses. And this looks like Molex and JST SH. So Molex and JST connectors apparently. Just kind of a whole makeup deal. So you can make up your own connectors. I have several of these kits for these Molex connectors, but they're larger styles that you'd use on circuit boards and different stuff like that. Not necessarily the this tiny stuff that you end up with drones. But so I've got some now. And then this looks like random connector pieces, more connectors, makeup wire. Okay, so that's a buzzer, telemetry. This is kind of like a wire and harness or a wire loom for an engine, maybe, but for a drone. I2C cable. So this is labeled cables. for multiple things to go on a flight connector controller. That's pretty cool. Individual Molex wire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 wires. A split cable, OSD, radio telemetry. So this is another kind of a wire loom. And just some random wires. It's always good to have random wires. More Molex connectors. Molex and JST and single pin connectors. And just hold on to this. So just a bunch of random wires. So that's nice. Another one of those buttons. So that's good to have. I definitely don't complain about that. I think that's awesome. So I won't have to make up wires most of the time. And this is kind of cool. I guess this would be maybe a tie-in or a jumper. You can run this over to ground and tap off of your battery setup. Battery connecting into here. So I don't know if I don't think the blue one's compatible with this. The one I had changed out on that one 6S battery. The video is compiling right now. It'll be posting tomorrow. Anyway, I mean, it's there you have it. I got a bunch of options when it comes to that stuff. So that's always good to have. And then here, what do we got? And I'm seeing this for the first time, guys. I don't know what's in here. I mean, I've drooled at the pictures online. And so I got an idea of what should be in here, but I really don't know. I don't know what all this stuff right here is. If you do, just tell me. This is kind of folded up like there's something in here. I'm just going to leave that as it is. I don't know what it is. A Shark battery case. Ruh-roh. Okay, so this is a Shark. No battery in there. Let's see. TOS 18650's in there. And that's a Shark battery case. So that's cool, I guess. I think. We'll see. Okay, maybe I shouldn't just open stuff up so willy-nilly. And so these are Shark battery cases with... Oh, okay, so I see. That's not good. Nothing on there. Nothing on there. So these are probably LiPo batteries. So I would probably should try to get a storage charge on these. Yeah, LiPo battery packs, 7.4 volt. So, okay, so these are probably the normal battery packs for this Fat Shark thing. And this right here allows you to use 18650s, which will be a little higher voltage unless there's some electronics to tone it down a bit, maybe a buck converter in there. So awesome. I'm going to leave this stuff kind of laying out because I'll try to take care of those batteries. So let's get this stuck back in here. And I apologize because I really don't know what, a lot of the stuff is. So I'm kind of just looking at it and going from there. Well, here's a plastic box of something. Probably bits and pieces. So that looks like a butt connector for that kind of, yeah, no, this, yeah, okay. So maybe there's the regular connectors in here somewhere for this. Don't know what that is. It's a barrel connector, and I know what that is. That is a resettable thermal fuse. If you have a heater in your bathroom, you have one of those on it. And when your heater or vent fan in your bathroom goes out, it's because that went out. Another buzzer. Looks like the wires are gone, but I could probably solder some more on there. Some connectors. And this is just random bits and pieces of whatever, like standoff screws, stuff like that. Because, again, I hate to keep saying this. I don't know if it's posted yet or not. But I had something come in, and I was like, oh, they didn't put the screws in it. So now I don't have to worry about it. I got my own screws. So just a quick little look at random stuff there. That I don't think it's no real biggies. Then we got this big old bag of stuff. And so I'm just going to look at this and kind of put it back. And see, here's one thing. It was kind of aggravating because I bought these and then I won this and it has them in it. So I really didn't need to buy any, but I got them. I got my options. So I'm trying to go kind of fast. If you guys want me to go into details about some of this stuff, just let me know. Bushings, grommets, looks like motor frame adapters for different drone motor sizes. And I'm just not going to stuff all this in that one bag. We'll just put this back in here. And we'll actually take these and stick these in there. Let me fold them over. And shoot, why not? Well, no, screws, whatever those things are, plastic and or wood screws, so fasteners. And again, I don't know what these are, but what does it call them? Spare parts, HMV 450 DO1. Well, Kara. So it doesn't really say. I don't know what those are, but I got them. Man, look at there. A bunch of T60s, T connectors. Oh, that's nice to have. So that right there is set up to put on your drone frame for your battery connection. Doesn't have the power module with it, so it's not gonna. Or we talked about that in one of the drone videos, or the build. It was either on one of the unboxings on a drone or the drone build. And I think probably both. So anyway, we got battery connectors, and here's capacitors. Good ones. We got some random capacitors. Glass ND filters. I guess that would be for cameras. Those are terminals of some sort. More random wires, fuses, connectors. That's some kind of connector, lights. So we got a lot of electronics and stuff. That's an LED panel. That's so I got some of these that are 100 watts. And they prove it. When you hook them up to the driver and fire them babies off, they light up the world. The sun goes out, we'll just hook one of them up. That baby is bright. May do a video on doing something with those. I got several of them. I even forgot what I originally bought them for. But it wasn't a specific project. It was with the, hey, I can do something with them. That's cool. And so I got them. And that was probably 10 years ago. Last time I hooked one up, it worked. So here's some random parts. Some propellers. It looks like landing gear. Wheels and wire guides. Again, like I said, here's propellers. These are kind of flimsy propellers. That's got to be for a helicopter. What is that? But no, standoffs. Yeah, that I recognize that. That's part of a helicopter. Just a bunch of propellers and stuff, I guess, for helicopters. So this must be the helicopter drone bag or something. So it's all kind of stuff in there. And we're going to stick it all kind of back in there. So a lot of this stuff I don't know that I will ever use for anything, you know, because I got the one helicopter and I really would like to get it going. I almost had it going one time. I got it in the air and it was drifting around in a circle. And I just had an old cheap controller or transmitter, and it wasn't too healthy. So this is drone frames. It's a bunch of drone frames and some 3D printed stuff. Carbon fiber drone frames. I guess this would be probably enough in here, looks like it, to build a an actual drone. There's a flight controller modules holder, stander. Oh, several of them. That's good. I'm going to need them. Hint, hint. So, yeah, there's the main body for a drone. So, yeah, we got options here. Now, that bag is something we probably wind up getting into. Okay, I know it was in here. And so all of this was piled up in here and probably not getting piled back up in there. So it's just going to fit back in the main box. And then here's another bag of random stuff with propellers poking out and everything. There's maybe a shell to go over the top of a drone. I don't know. And this appears to be some kind of barb glow plug. Okay, so that's glow plug. We got some glow plugs. We can set some stuff on fire. A power adapter. So, oh wow. So this is a drone battery, but so I recognize this, and I believe what this would be is the thrust engine portion for a jet. Maybe right, maybe wrong, who knows? GoPro camera adapter, I would guess. Not acting stupid. I don't know, but that's what I would say that is. This appears to be 3D printed. It is some kind. Well, that's an LED light. So maybe it was a something in process project. What in the world? Selectra LiPo charger. Okay, so this is a little tiny battery charger. Probably won't use it because I have some of that stuff. Here we go. This is I call it a distribution board, but it's I guess it's a distribution. That's the only thing that makes sense for this. But you would connect. Let's see, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can connect 8 motors into here. And then your main connections, you'll do here. So this will be your battery coming in. And then you have a negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, so on and so forth, all the way around. I like this deal right here because they've got positives towards one another, negatives towards one another. So it reduces the risk of a solder bridge potentially causing issues. So, cool. It's good to have. Some more stuff. I would say TPU. Printed TPU camera holders. That would be my guess on those. And that's just some more framing parts. I'm not digging all that out. I've dug enough of it out. This appears to be some kind of headband for something. Got some little small motors here with some larger propellers. And these have to be 2212s, I'm sure. I would guess. Anyway, that's what they look like. So we got those. So there's a lot of pretty good stuff in here, in my opinion. Got another drone motor here with a motor adapter plate built onto it. This is like a pancake style motor. It's a 2306. Looks like it has suffered some damage. So I don't know, it may not be functional because this motor is creased or pushed in on the side. But it'd be interesting. If it doesn't function as a drone motor quite well, which, okay, it doesn't, because it catches. So it'd be worth kind of doing something with and using it for a tiny generator. It's an idea. So let's get all this stuff back in there. I really don't know how they got all this stuff in there to begin with. I guess that goes with that little LiPo battery charger. And what else is in the box? One last thing. That. You've probably been expecting it anyway. So, Fat Shark FPV goggles. Gurgles. And now I understand. See, because I see it's missing one of the eyepieces, so maybe it's in the kit somewhere and I missed it or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Till I can look at it a little better, I don't want to do a whole lot because these are dead or they're not registering. So I don't want to really do anything with those. But hopefully these work. And so when I first got one of the flight transmitter controllers, it had a PS2 plug in the bottom of it. Now I kind of understand. With a PS2 double-ended cable, and I don't know if it's passed through, if it's crossover or what. I don't know what kind of setup that is. But you have one here. So I could plug this into the controller and do simulations on, you know, flying a particular drone to try to get used to it, to see how well I could do or not do or whatever. And so these are Fat Shark flight goggles, and the antenna would plug onto here. Now, if this works, I don't know. If this doesn't work, I don't know. But if this does work, it is potentially worth as much or more than what I paid for the whole thing here. So we will find out given time. So that is what we've got so far. I appreciate you guys sticking around and staying awake. I really do. Usually when it's late at night like this, I'm tired and I've been going all day long. I ramble. Hopefully we got through this pretty quick. It was, what? It looks like almost 30 minutes up there. I went as fast as I could, but I'm going to put all this stuff together and try to do some jumping around so that you can, you have time codes that you can decide, you know, jump ahead to whatever, wherever, and however. So we'll have an update on this when we know for sure if this works. You'll see it in future videos. If not, then you'll probably see it in an attempted repair video. And we will go from there. So I appreciate you guys. I thank you. I enjoy spending time with you. And I will see you next time. Okay. I have to throw this in there somewhere. They work. So just so you know, they work. See you next time. Your time is very important to me, and I thank you for spending it here with me. Thanks, and God bless.